Explain phase to someone who doesn't know anything about audio. You have 5 minutes.
This didn't work out that well last time. Phase.
Oh, how do you...
Phase. Doesn't
Yes.
phase me none.
So as it turns out, most people are aware sound waves. It's some sort of variable amplitude, right? Okay, that's a better way to go.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't
Because that's
know.
hard to describe. You
Yeah,
had,
five
you had,
minutes?
you had diagrams on
Yeah, he
your
had
video
diagrams.
phase.
Diagrams
Yeah.
would help. Diagrams would help.
Timer's running.
Okay. You want me to do this? Figured to get
Well,
some
Well,
involvement.
go
from the-
for it.
All right, so you
When you
got
start it, I'll butt
we
in.
got like a minute and a half left over
All
here,
right.
We got 4 minutes.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
doing very well.
right?
You know,
everybody-
things sound phasey. It kind of
That's a
like they're
different thing.
phasing in and out. That's kind of phasey.
I think the vast majority of people are aware of what a sound wave looks like if you were to graph it,
I don't
right?
know.
How
Well-
people would traditionally characterize these things.
I don't know. Maybe we
Maybe.
should start with that.
Okay.
Sound is kind of like a sinusoidal wave, so to speak. A combination
Sinusoidal, yeah,
of
that's not
sinusoidal
particularly
waves, which
helpful.
are like
Like a slinky.
it's kind of like up and down, up and down. A slinky actually,
It's like a stretched out
slinky
slinky.
can
Yeah, okay.
create a
that's not terrible.
sinusoidal. Yeah, let's go with that.
And when you collapse the slinky, you increase the frequency.
Yeah.
So the bumpy bits get closer together.
Yeah.
You pull the slinky out, they get further apart. That's lower and higher frequencies. Well, as it turns out, sound doesn't always add up, right? You have noise canceling headphones. What they typically do is they make more noise that's 180 out of phase.
I call
from
it
the existing
anti-noise.
Anti-noise. Yeah, it's like an antimatter. but
Wait, it's
anti-noise.
anti-sound,
Anti-sound.
which cancels the sound. It's anti-sound.
So your ears, they hear the relative change in pressure, the frequency difference, the amplitude change, right?
Maybe- yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Your ears are hearing the rate of change.
Well, one
They're
way I
not
could
hearing
think
the
of-
sound itself per
One,
se.
one way I could think of describing it is, let's say you had one speaker hooked up to an amplifier and the other speaker hooked to an amplifier, and you reverse the leads on one of the speakers.
Right.
So now, basically, anti-sound is going in one speaker. The sound is reversed on one speaker. So when one speaker's woofer moves out, the other one's moves in. So they're
Yeah.
like opposite each other.
That doesn't really explain it. It's more like
No.
a practical
But
approach. I
opposite's
suppose.
probably
It's
the
a
easiest
test.
because they somewhat cancel each other out.
Yeah.
If one's
Yeah.
pushing air and the other one's pulling it, net is zero.
Right.
And that's the easiest way probably to explain it. And that goes for any frequency, right? Like if you played a 10 kilohertz test tone on one, and if you can hear it, and you play a 10 kilohertz on the other, and they were reversed, one speaker's backwards, at some area in between the speakers, sound would cancel.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you phase. It doesn't describe what
Well,
it is.
that's probably the easiest way to explain how what 180 degrees are
Still
direct
doesn't really
opposite
describe phase, I don't
phases.
think, particularly well.
Yeah.
So phase is the alignment, effectively, from one frequency relative to another. So you have these bumpy bits, right?
2
There's a
minutes.
change in pressure. 2 minutes,
Yeah.
right? Noise canceling headphones typically try to create the opposite of that to make it go away. But the pressure doesn't go away. It still has an absolute pressure. It sustains it, so you don't hear anything. You don't hear the rate of
It's
change.
creating sound, but you hear nothing.
Yeah.
You hear nothing. Yeah.
You're still, making noise.
So basically, phase is the alignment between two relative waveforms, effectively. Right? It's the alignment of the one peak and trough to the other peak and trough of the two different waveforms.
Measured
And so-
measured in increments of kind of like a circle, which
Yeah,
is
measured in degrees,
360
360 degrees
Yeah.
typically.
So you start at one end, 0.
Yeah.
You go up to a peak of 90. You
90,
come down to
180.
180. You go back under the line to 270, and then 360s back.
Right.
And that's one complete sine wave,
Right.
whatever that is. If people don't know what sine waves are.
Well, it's like in home theater, subs have a phase.
But why do they
knob,
do that?
Right.
So then they could match your speaker's phase.
Right.
It's all about latency.
Well, that again brings us back to speakers. The woofer on the subwoofer needs to move in identical fashion to the woofers on the speakers.
Right.
If they don't, then they're out of phase and they start to fight
Yeah, it
each other.
sounds all,
So
ugh.
you want the speakers and the subwoofer to be moving at the same time.
Yep.
Not negative or positive phase relative to
Right.
the main speaker.
Very same reason why wireless speakers tends to be a problem, because both speakers need to be synced perfectly. Otherwise, if one's off by a tiny little bit, it's going to be moving either faster or slower. It's going to move before or after the other speaker, and it's going to create minor phase irregularities and balances from one speaker to another.
Phase can mess with you too. Like they do that for effects on headphones, where they change the phase on left or right or with different frequencies, and mess with your brain. So you can make things sound like they're way the hell out there. You can do that with speakers too, right? Doesn't Dolby do something like that, or they're messing with things?
Yeah, that's really all those effects
8
are pretty much
seconds.
timing.
Yeah. It's messing with your brain.
I
Your
think
left right
maybe
ear is
that was
hearing
a
things
big
differently.
acceptable.
That's pretty
Yeah.
tough to describe. Though.
It's better than
Time's
last
up.
time,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, if you like that quick ramble, I guess is what we call
Yeah,
it.
we-
Just a-
It's tough.
Yeah.
Phase is tough to describe.
yeah, like
In
without
words.
a picture.
Yeah. But anyway.
But yeah, there's a lot of practical examples of it, so
Yeah.
you see it in the day to day. I guess it warrants a more in-depth video
With
on
animations.
Phase. Animations,
Little pictures.
Yeah, we definitely need
yeah,
some pictures.
demonstrations,
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
So
So
we'll refresh it at some point. Pop
So-
it on the channel in the future.
Yeah, for those who want to get deeper into phase.
that's right. Stay tuned for that coming up, and thanks for watching.